Okay, let's do an example of a search which is called alternative city hacking. Different ways to save money when you're flying. Hidden city hacking is another one, which we'll talk about a little later. But in this example, we'll do alternative city hacking. Okay, now I live in Brisbane, Australia, and I like to use Google. Google has a great tool. It's just get to it by searching for flights. And you can see here when you do a Google search for flights, you can scroll down and you click on this widget. And I live in Brisbane, so I'll do a search from Brisbane to another city. And in this example, I want to get up to Bangkok, Thailand. Now, Brisbane is the main international city, but it's not the only city nearby where you can fly internationally. So, and this tool is great because you can actually type something in like try South America and get prices for all cities in South America. You could also separate in the to field by changing and putting in multiple airport codes and separating it by comma, like you see here. Okay, so that'll give you pricing to different airports, which is a great way to see pricing. You can also scroll down and use the map tool, and you can get different pricing by searching on a map. But in this example, I'm going to do a one-way ticket from Brisbane, and I want to go to Bangkok, Thailand. So I'll put in Bangkok, Thailand, and I want to choose all airports. So the main airport is BKK, and the secondary airport is DMK, Dong Muang. Okay, so let's do a search from Brisbane to Bangkok and see what we get. And we'll choose a date. Okay, I'm going to choose a date here of, let's try the 12th of June, which is less than a week away. Sometimes pricing can be higher depending on how close you are. Sometimes it can be cheaper. If you notice, if I put in the 12th of or 10th of July, it might be cheaper, but you can see here on the 7th of June, it would only be $341. Okay, so we're going to try the 12th. And here are the results. Okay, $559. Now we also want to change the sort by to make sure we're searching by price if price is your main concern. So I'll do a price search. And China Eastern shows a flight with a stop in PVG, which is Shanghai. Okay, just hover over that to get that, and you see a price of $559. Now, is this the best we can do? No, you can actually get something better. And here again is the map view. You can actually search multiple destinations on a map, and it'll bring up pricing on the map, which is a really great tool if you're trying to search for multiple locations to find a better deal, which we can talk about that later, which again is hidden city hacking. But let's go back up here, scroll back up to the top, and we're doing a one-way economy fare. Okay, and $559, that's our price to beat. Can we do it? Okay, and notice the time, it's 17 hours of flying through Shanghai. Okay, all right, back up here, Brisbane. Okay, let's change that to the Gold Coast Airport, which the code for that is OOL. And again, that's an airport about an hour and a half south of Brisbane. So I'll put that airport in there. And immediately, we get a price with Scoot, which is a discount carrier. They fly out of the Gold Coast. They don't fly out of Brisbane. Up to Bangkok for $451. Now, if you notice here, okay, they go to the secondary airport DMK with a 7-hour stop in Singapore for that price. We could also change the search and never rely on only economy. Sometimes you get a better deal if you change the class to business or first class simply because there are pricing anomalies. So I can change the class of service to something else. If it's a international carrier, they may have 4 classes of service. That's why you see 4 options here. Whereas domestic carriers may only have 2 classes of service, economy and first. Okay, so here are my 4 choices. Everything from economy to first class. So I'll try business class just to see what kind of results I get. And I get 2,207, that's the best deal. Let's try something else. Let's try first just to see what we get, 3613. Okay, not really what I want to spend money on today. But I'll try back to Brisbane, and again, I'm going to try in first class, 3,600. Okay, you can see that price here. And I may just try business class. So again, it pays just to check. And look at that, Brisbane to Bangkok in business is much cheaper than flying out of the Gold Coast to stop in Taipei. Okay, it's 1,751. Okay, so let's go back to our original example of flying out of the Gold Coast. And we want to go back to economy class. And again, we're flying on the 12th, but we could also change that date. And if you're flexible, and if flexibility is a key factor in this, and we want to change it to, let's just hover over that. The 13th, it's 471, a little higher. But if you notice on the 14th, okay, we get a price of 328. Okay, we're now saving even more money. So click done. And here are my options. Now the first flight for 328 stops in Singapore, and the red indicates that there's a long layover of over 21 hours. I don't really, and again, you can get details here. And again, it's a flight with Scoot, discount carrier, out of the Gold Coast. 8 hours to get to Singapore, but then 21-hour layover in Singapore doesn't excite me. I would not want to spend the time there unless I had to. If I had to, then that's a great deal. And it gives you that layover that you may not have expected, get to experience Singapore for a full day. Just keep in mind there's also the whole hotel expense. But this flight gives me a price of $388, which only a 2-hour layover from Singapore. So if you're trying to get to Bangkok, this is less flying time. Flight leaves at 9 o'clock in the morning, military time, 19:25, that's 7:25 p.m. So we can take a look at this flight. This, for an extra $60, instead of the overnight layover, I may choose this flight. And again, it's a huge savings over the original flight out of Brisbane using the secondary airport. So flying with Scoot, leaving at 9 o'clock in the morning, getting in on Friday instead of the 12th. Okay, let's look at the details for this flight. Okay, so again, we have a 2-hour layover in Singapore. And if you notice, the flight getting in arrives into the main airport of BKK instead of DMK. And that's actually pretty good. If you're trying to get into town, there's really good transportation from the BKK airport into Bangkok. So that's pretty good. So we just saved a whole bunch of money by using a secondary airport out of the Gold Coast instead of flying out of Brisbane. Okay, and again, to check, to compare on the 14th, we get a price of $621, making sure that we're sorting by price. And so the deal is out of the Gold Coast, you'll save a considerable amount of money by using a alternative airport. Again, Rick Brown, the Savvy Travel Hacker, saving you money.